everyone. Welcome to the RV Atlas. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jeremy.
And we are the hosts of the RV Atlas podcast. We're writers over at thervatlas.com, and we're also the authors of See You at the Campground. Go pick up your copy wherever you like to buy your books. Today, we are here, as soon as Jeremy stops spinning his book.
I love this book.
We are going to talk to you about 12 tips for first-time RV owners.
And they're going to be 12 quick tips.
Quick tips. We're going to be quick. We're going to be to the point.
There's some golden wisdom here. We've basically screwed everything up at somewhere along the line when we started as new RV owners. So there's some hard-won wisdom here. And if you're anywhere in like the first year of RV ownership, I think there's a lot of really good stuff for you. And if you're just buying your RV, this is where it's at.
All right, okay? This is where you guys get to learn from all of our mistakes.
Tip
all
one.
Right, tip one.
We think that you should camp close to home on your first RV trip, if not your first couple of RV trips. Then if anything goes wrong, you can go back home.
Right. You also
or if
know
you
how to
forget
get
anything,
help,
if
right?
you forget anything, you can go back home. If you need to run and get something from Walmart or Camping World or Cabela's or wherever it might be, you know where all those stores are, basically.
Yeah.
If you can't get the furnace going at night and it's cold, you could hypothetically go back home. It's about comfort. It's about convenience. It's not about having fun necessarily those first few trips, but you will have fun anyway.
Well, you're just learning how to use your RV, and it's going to lead to less user errors and a better RV experience down the road.
Look at those first few weekends as just learning the new rig.
All right.
Second tip. Okay, we think you should reserve a campsite at a private campground, not a public campground. So we think for your first couple trips, you shouldn't do a state park, a national park, or a county park. Even if you think that's the type of...
But they're so much prettier!
They're beautiful. Even if you think that's the kind of RVer you're going to be, because you like huge sites and privacy and really inexpensive sites, we think a private campground's good for those first few trips because there'll be somebody there to help you. There'll be somebody there to help you back into your site. If something mechanical breaks or you can't figure out how to get something turned on...
Hey, I don't know how to turn on my water heater.
There'll be a campground manager there. Now, unfortunately, state and national parks are really understaffed, and most rangers are not RV owners anyway.
No.
So they're really not going to be there to back you into your site or to help you if something's broken.
Yeah,
so
if something goes wrong, it's on you.
You can do the gorgeous state park and national park campgrounds later. Try a KOA or a Jellystone or a mom and pop owned campground for the first couple trips.
All right, now our third tip is for your first trip, why don't you consider reserving a pull-through site? Now, you might be saying, what the heck are you talking about? What's a pull-through site? Well, there's two basic kind of sites at campgrounds. There's back-ins and pull-throughs. And the number one issue that people have as new RV owners is, guess what? Backing in.
The number one issue that veteran RV owners
well,
sometimes have.
Right. It causes a lot of marriage issues. People go to counseling for backing up their trailers together.
Generally speaking, back-in sites are prettier because there's often woods behind you. Pull-through sites have a road on either side. So if these are two roads, a pull-through site's going to go right in the middle of the two roads. So you pull in from one road, and then when you leave the campground, you pull out on another.
That is the most confusing arm diagram I've ever seen.
Drop me a comment. Let me know if that was confusing.
All right. But
honestly,
the point is you don't have to back up the trailer at all. You get to pull in and pull out straight in front of you.
You had to go and make it simple.
It's
you never have to back up in a pull-through site. Now, granted, they're not always the nicest sites, but you can worry about getting the prettiest site later after your first couple of trips.
Minimize the stressors on your first trip. Get to use, the RV, get to know it, and then you can deal with backing up
off the table. Tip number 4. Divide and conquer during setup. And we really used to do this because we had young kids when we bought our first pop-up camper. I would set up the RV. You'd take the kids to the playground.
Far, far away.
Just get them away from the RV. Now, even if you don't have kids, have set defined jobs that each person does so that you're helping each other, you're dividing and conquering, and one person is not doing everything.
But you can also switch later on so that you learn your whole rig. It's not like only one person can know how to do a certain thing. It's just helpful to know whose jobs are what at the beginning.
And now our kids, who used to just kind of sadly get in the way and stress me out when we were setting up the RV, they set up the camp chairs. Okay, they get out the cooler. They have set jobs they do.
They put down the stability jack. So,
they'll put the awning out now.
Kids can have jobs too once they're older, but at the beginning, just make sure that you remove any distractions.
Newsflash. Kids can have jobs too, okay? Parents of our generation, you can make your kids work.
We're still working on that. All right.
Tip number 5.
Tip number 5.
Okay, and this is where we're getting a little crafty and subtle. Don't be afraid to ask for help at the campground. RVers are notoriously helpful people, sometimes too helpful, but we'll get into that in a second. Don't spend 2 hours trying to get the furnace going, okay? Ask a veteran RVer.
And we know this because we probably did spend 2 hours trying to get the furnace going on our pop-up camper years ago. And we would have been trying to get it going for hours in the future. But a very nice RVer came over. He showed us this trick. And we learned the trick to bring the gas through the system. And we lit our furnace.
Here's a really pro tip. Ask the older generation of RVer for help because they're handier than we are.
They know how to work their RVs.
They know how to work their RVs.
We just get other people to fix
our RVs. Now,
RVs.
tip number 6. Now, we just told you to ask for help if you need it. But tip number 6, if you're backing in, you're past that first couple trips and you want to be in a back-in site, everybody's going to want to help you, okay? Your people are going to come over. They're going to pull up. They're going to be cracking beers in their lawn chairs, watching you back up. There's going to be 10 people with opinions. People are going to be on their walkie-talkies like, Newbie on site number 10.
Yeah, like, somebody's going to like basically remove you from the driver's seat and try to get in and park your rig for you.
No, people do. They'll be like, I'll do that for you.
Look,
now, at that point, don't be afraid to say, I really want to practice. I don't need help. Or like my wife and I are okay right now.
We're learning how to do this.
We're learning.
We're trying not to get a divorce.
Because the squad is going to show up, man, to back you into your site. It's high amusement for these people.
So say yes to help that you want and no thank you to help that you don't want. All right, what's the next tip?
Okay, tip number 7, find great camping buddies. When we first started RVing, there was another teacher at Stephanie's school, and they just bought a pop-up camper as well. So we started to do trips together. And it was wonderful because we were great friends with them. We made great memories with them, but we also helped each other.
Yeah.
We shared meals together. We watched the kids for each other. We would help each other with our RVs. So if you know somebody that has an RV...
We caravanned, towing together, and there is safety in numbers on the road. It feels like that you can help each other if something goes wrong.
Now, if you're saying, how do I don't have any friends that own RVs, well, maybe you could persuade some of your friends to buy an RV, and I'm not kidding. Or
Jeremy's been doing it for years.
Come onto our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group.
It's his job.
The RV Atlas group, and just put a post in and say, like, I need a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a friend to go camping with. But in all seriousness, it can really help the newbie to be camping with another family that's also a newbie.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, number 8. Please avoid driving at night for the first RVing experience that you have. We actually avoid driving at night as much as possible.
If possible. And we know it's not always possible, and we still drive at night.
Sometimes.
But we really do try to
avoid
it. First of all, it's just not as safe in a very general sense. But also, if you do break down, it's going to be harder to get somebody to help you. If you need a spare tire or you need some odd part or whatever, there's just more of a chance that shops are going to be closed.
Things are closed, right? Yeah.
So, like, we have had that issue where we broke down at night, and it was really hard to get what we needed, where when we broke down at 10 o'clock in the morning... And look, that's 2 breakdowns in 10 years. So don't think that we break down all the time.
These people break down a lot. What's going on over there?
Tip
all right,
number 9. Okay.
Speaking of breaking down.
Look, things are going to break. Stuff is going to happen.
Especially if you have
Some
kids
of you
like
that
ours.
are thinking about buying your first RV, you might be worried about RV quality. And there are real concerns there. But you just need to know something will break. It's a house on wheels.
Yeah.
You can't let it ruin a whole trip. If something breaks in your RV on a Friday night and you're miserable all weekend, that's not the right mindset.
Hey, really? Is that true, honey? Because I've seen you kind of stress about things like the stereo not working.
I said we learned all this,
the
from our
hard way.
My auxiliary jack to my stereo broke on a trip, and it drove me crazy all weekend. I wanted to listen to music, but meanwhile,
I was in a hammock.
Yeah, she was in a hammock. The kids are playing baseball. Like, just don't let some minor thing that breaks get you down. Yeah. You'll deal with it later. You'll get it fixed, basically.
All right, tip number 10.
I love this tip.
Is it your favorite?
Because it's connected to the last tip. As a new RV owner, you're going to be tempted to bring the RV into the service center every single time something little happens.
There's a loose handle on a cabinet.
Or even something larger, like my sink won't work.
Yeah.
I recommend not bringing the RV in every single time something small happens, because then the RV is going to be in the shop a lot. We batch our service issues and our warranty issues. So I'll wait till there's 5 or 6 things that need to be addressed, and then I'll bring it in all at once because I don't want to lose use of my RV.
Right, and that's only during warranty
and
period,
I'm talking
of
smaller
course.
things.
Right.
Obviously,
things
if your RV is inoperable, it's inoperable.
We're not talking a leak,
Yeah, but if you discover a crack on the countertop that you didn't see when you did your walkthrough, and then I'm going to bring it in to get serviced, well, you're not going to have your RV for a week or so.
Yeah.
And I want to use my RV. I remember one time our sink did not work, but we still went to Myrtle Beach.
We did, and we just had our entire vacation in Myrtle Beach without our kitchen sink, but we had a sink in the bathroom. We had an outdoor kitchen. We were fine. We had a great vacation, and then later on, we got our RV fixed. All right.
Tip number 11, join a great Facebook group.
We've got one.
We've got one. The RV Atlas
Fancy
group.
that.
And it doesn't just have to be our group, but it should be our group because everyone's friendly in our group, and we
It's no
bounce
cranks
people.
allowed.
We bounce people that are not
Okay.
nice. So our group's great for newbies, the RV Atlas group. Join a group, ask questions, don't be shy. If you can't figure something out, other RVers will share their wisdom with you.
Yeah, and the good ones out there know they were there once too, and they remember that, and they won't act like a know-it-all. They'll be helpful. All right, what's our last tip?
Tip number 12.
This isn't your favorite?
Breathe, relax, have fun. Being a new RV owner, there are some stress points because you're learning a whole new way of traveling.
It's
You're
like, remember back when you bought your first house and people were talking to you about HVAC and you were like, what's that, right? I mean, remember back to those days.
Even though you're going to have some issues, you're going to have some problems, you're also going to be on the ride of your life and have the adventure of your lives, and you're going to love RV ownership. We really, really believe that. So take a deep breath if you're stressed out, relax and have fun, and then also throw us a like if you enjoyed this video.
Like.
If you have any questions, drop us a comment. We'd be happy to answer them later. And please subscribe to our channel if you liked this video.
All right, guys. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jeremy, and we're the authors of See You at the Campground.
See You at the
This
Campground.
is packed with information for new RV owners.
Everything you need to know for a new RV owner. We put everything that we ever learned in this book.
Everything we
know about camping
is here.
is right there. All right,
We'll see you at
everybody.
the campground.
See you at the campground.